a guide to some of the ships to be found in Broadhaven Bay during the visit of the Solitaire, July 2009.
Okay, yeah, we're standing on the cliffs at Glengad. We're looking across at the compound where you can see a number of cranes, and that's poles with netting on them that they put up to stop any access to the winch which they installed there. You can also see a number of security and things like that. Then we move down onto the causeway which Shell have built in order to enable them to bring in to pull in the pipe. That little orange boat there is IRMS security, or there's two boats. Those are the boats that they use to come in from the beach whenever we do an action. Further out, I think that's also IRMS security. It's very difficult to tell because the safety boats and the security boats are interchangeable in a lot of ways. The white boat there would be a safety boat. I suppose their primary function is supposedly to ensure that everybody on the water is safe, but in a lot of ways they just act as extra security for Shell, although they rarely get involved in actual physical confrontation or anything like that. They just block our boats and tell us to leave and so on. And yeah, there are a number of the ribs, the rigid inflatable boats that are quite quick on the water that belong to Shell in either the security or safety guises. Then a little bit further on there in the distance you can see a tug which is used basically mainly for pulling boats like the dredgers that we'll talk about in a minute. They also used it to attach the cable for the winch in order to enable them to drag the pipe onto land. Then there's another tug just a little bit further over there as well. Then we move on. We have the long boat with the blue boat with the orange kind of trim, and that's a boat that it's a barge that the two dredgers, those with the long digger arms on them, they deposit material from the seafloor, and that barge goes out to sea a bit and just dumps the material. So the two dredgers there, they're used to. They created a trench for Shell to put the pipe into. We've had a number of successful actions on them a couple of weeks back. The second of which, both of which involved people getting onto the arms of the diggers on those dredgers and stopping work, and the second of which meant that all the boats left the bay for about 3 or 4 days, which was a great success. But unfortunately they're back. Now, I don't know if you can see there on the horizon is the Solitaire, the biggest pipe-laying ship in the world, and that is busy laying pipe there, as it has been for, I suppose, a little over a week now, or when it's been here for a little over a week, and it has its supply boat, which looks very small beside it, but which is actually huge. The Solitaire is a massive boat. It's hundreds of meters long, and it's an absolute monster. There's a number of smaller ribs there as well, but over at the headland, the near headland that you're looking at, we up until recently had a Navy warship. We had 2 last week and 1 at the moment, but it seems to have left. And the Navy, well, I suppose a lot of people would have had more respect for them than for the Gardaí, because they wouldn't have the same legacy of corruption that exists within the Gardaí. They showed themselves to be essentially interchangeable with the Gardaí, and that they acting as further security for Shell. We also often have Garda boats. Gardaí have a number of ribs and naval diver ribs which come around whenever we have an action in the bay, to try and impede us, and they've often in recent times engaged in all kinds of tactics like slashing boats with knives, capsizing people into the water, putting a hook in people's boats and dragging them along through the water. And so I suppose they play rough. Cool.
This final sequence shows the Rossport Solidarity camp located on the cliffs above the bay. That's the kitchen tent, and that's our main meeting tent.